put this on. There you go. There's the headline. A Trump re-election would mean America first on trade is here to stay. The author of that headline, Christian Whiton, who joins us now. Okay, Christian, I think the headline makes your point that a Trump re-election means we're still America first on trade, we're going after China and all the rest of it. I think we got the point. But let me turn it around. What happens if Joe Biden wins? What happens to trade if Joe Biden wins? Spell it out.
Yeah, it would be a stark difference. And this is actually in contrast to what Biden's advisors and surrogates are saying, especially on China. They're trying to signal that there would be continuity, that the tougher approach we've seen to China in the last 4 years, which has bipartisan support, it's one of the only things with bipartisan support on Capitol Hill, would continue. But in fact, that would be probably the biggest difference, the approach to China. After all, Joe Biden didn't just vote to let China into the World Trade Organization, which sort of set up this whole theory that a rich China, a China that's engaged with the world, would become tame, would become docile. He was a leading proponent of that cause and a leading proponent of what many people would describe as globalism. So if you look at what Trump has done to China, the Section 301 tariffs on over half of what we import from them, Biden opposed those, getting tough with the World Trade Organization, which a lot of people had thought was biased against the U.S. The Trump administration disabled the dispute resolution mechanism at the WTO by prohibiting appointments to the appellate body, the senior-most dispute resolution mechanism. Joe Biden says things like, we're going to work with allies. So you could expect, actually, what he means is we're going to work with allies like Germany and France and in Brussels, and that there would be a decrease in pressure on reform in the WTO. And finally, if you look at what Biden's priorities are, and this meshes with your last segment, it's climate change. He would prioritize, and his people admit this, prioritize a climate change deal with Xi Jinping, China's leader. So to get that, how do you get that? You have to give them something. You ease off on tariffs. Xi will, of course, happily give you an agreement. He won't comply with it, but he'll give it to you.
I'd love to see Joe Biden negotiate with Xi Jinping. That would be most interesting, I think. But I'm being sarcastic, and I shouldn't be. And I should not do that. I'm going to change the subject completely. I'm going to show you some video. North Korea showing off, I'm going to describe it, and so does everybody else, a monster intercontinental ballistic missile. This is at a military parade in Pyongyang. Now, you work for the special envoy to North Korea. Should we be concerned about this monster? What can we tell from that video?
I wouldn't be any more concerned than we have been for the last several years. It looks like they have a portable ICBM. We have several hundred on submarines in addition to ground-based ones, so we do have them deterred. It's been known for a long time, ever since North Korea successfully tested a multi-stage intercontinental missile, that they've been able to reach the United States, probably with a nuclear weapon. The only thing that's unknown is of whether they have perfected the reentry vehicle so that a warhead could return from space to Earth and detonate. That's actually not that hard of a technology. Frankly, all of the technology going into making the bomb is tougher. So, yes, North Korea could hit us with a nuclear weapon unless our limited missile defenses, could knock it out of the sky, and that would depend on a great many things. But we have them deterred, and I'd say Donald Trump's approach to North Korea, it's a weird country, and his approach has worked, I think, better than his 2 or 3 predecessors in the White House.
Yeah, you were talking there about MIRV, M-I-R-V, multiple independent re-entry vehicles. In other words, you can launch one huge missile and it branches out and delivers 6 or 7 nuclear bombs to 6 or 7 different targets. If they've got that, and you say that that is a relatively simple thing to accomplish, I think we should be worried about that. Last 10 seconds to you.
We should be worried, and actually the question isn't whether they have MIRVs for multiple ones or even just one. Obviously, a single one would kill a city. So, yeah, we've got to be very concerned, but understand that North Korea is deterred, and the situation hasn't changed that much this weekend.
Got it. All right, Christian, thanks for joining us, as always. See you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.